Hi, it's Dr. Bob Morrow again, the family physician in the Bronx and the Transparent Medical Practice blog. Today I'm going to talk about something besides money. Thank goodness! In any case, today I'd like to talk a bit about continuing medical education, or some of us call it continuing professional development, a subject near and dear to my heart because I've been doing research on the subject and it's interesting to me. I'd like to talk a bit about some of the furor that's been raised by the recent Macy's report and the AAMC report, both of which call for a tremendous retrenchment of the payment for continuing medical education by commercial firms, particularly the pharmaceutical and equipment industry. I thought I wasn't going to talk about money. Well, regardless, I'm sure you've heard both sides arguing quite bitterly on this, and I'd like to reframe the discussion. And I'd like to reframe it in the concept of who sets the agenda? Who decides what's important for us to learn in continuing medical education? Is this decided by the pharmaceutical industry? Well, after all, it's important to sell medications for overactive bladder. Certainly much more important than to teach doctors how to screen for sexually transmitted infections in young women, which affect perhaps 25 to 30% of them. So there's a budget for overactive bladder, and there's no budget for screening for chlamydia. Other examples of this abound in terms of teaching us how to really run our practices, teaching us really how to deal with the exigencies of the modern medical world, but we're instead deluged by an agenda that seems to be generated by those with deep pockets. So when you hear the discussion of who should pay for CME, I think that's really quite the wrong question. The right question is who should set the agenda? Who should pick what is important for the public's health and for our education? And then becomes quite a different question. We've been creating forms of education that involve peers using interactive discussions to actually focus on what goes on in practice. This practice-based education, of course, has an entirely different purpose than to make money for somebody. So, as I said, I'm not going to be talking about money, but how not to make money by having the agenda for continuing medical education set by our schools, by our public health officials, and most importantly by our academies. This is where it should be done. It should not be done based on who is paying. Thanks again. Hope it was interesting. Bye-bye.